You know that electric car you see on the road? That wind turbines spinning off in the distance? They feel like progress, right? A clean, green future. But what if I told you that future is being built on a foundation that looks, well, a whole lot like the dirty fossil fuel past we're trying to escape? Let's get into this because it's a huge contradiction we need to talk about.
So this is the core of it right here. On one side, you've got all the symbols of our green future. And on the other, the pretty grim reality of what it takes to get there. We're talking conflict, exploitation, and a whole lot of pollution. This isn't just some small trade-off. It's a massive global struggle with some really serious consequences. To really wrap your head around what's happening, you have to stop thinking about these materials as just rocks. They've become something else entirely. They are, for all intents and purposes, the new black gold. Just as critical and just as politically charged as oil ever was. I mean, these things are everywhere. They are the invisible engine of our modern world. They're literally in the phone in your pocket, they're in advanced medical equipment, and they are absolutely essential on the battlefield. So you can see why controlling these minerals, well, that means controlling the future. Your economy, your technology, your military power, it all depends on them. Okay, so what exactly are these magical materials? And why is the world suddenly so incredibly hungry for them? Let's break it all down. So we're talking about a whole family of materials called critical minerals. You've probably heard of some of them, like lithium and cobalt for batteries. But there's also this group of 17 elements called rare earths. Now, the word critical is key here. It's a two-part problem. One, they are absolutely essential for our tech to work. And two, the supply chain to get them is incredibly fragile and easy to disrupt. And the amount of this stuff we need is just staggering. A single Tesla needs about 22 pounds of lithium. Okay, but an F-35 fighter jet, that needs almost half a ton of rare earths. And a nuclear sub, we're talking over 4 tons. This isn't some niche material anymore. It's the fundamental stuff that modern power is built on. And this chart, wow, this really lays it all out. As we make this huge shift toward green energy, the demand for these minerals is just exploding. I mean, the need for minerals for battery storage has already gone up 4 times. And as you can see from that projection, we are just getting warmed up. This surge is kicking off an absolute frenzy around the globe. And you know what happens when demand goes through the roof like that, right? It kicks off a massive, high-stakes competition. It's like a new great game, and it's being played out everywhere, from mines in Africa to boardrooms in Brussels. And in this game, right now, one country is the undisputed king, China. Now, they mine a lot of this stuff, sure, but their real power, their trump card, is in processing. By controlling 85% of the world's refining, they've basically built a strategic choke point on the entire global supply chain. They can threaten to turn off the tap, and they have. Now, this didn't happen overnight. For years, the West was kind of asleep at the wheel. The real wake-up call, as you can see here, was back in 2010, when China cut off exports to Japan during a political dispute. That sent shockwaves everywhere. So now you've got the US and the EU scrambling to catch up, passing these huge laws to build their own supply chains. But honestly, they're playing a game of catch-up that's going to take years, maybe even decades. And this scramble isn't just about money, it's actively fueling conflict. I mean, it's probably no coincidence that Russia's invasion of Ukraine focused so heavily on the East, where you find massive deposits of lithium. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, ongoing violence is directly tied to who controls the cobalt. From Myanmar to South America, it's the same story. Where you find these minerals, you often find instability right behind them. So, beyond all the geopolitics, there is a devastating price being paid on the ground. It's a cost paid by people and by the planet, and it's almost always hidden from those of us who just buy the shiny final product. This quote from the organization Global Witness it hits the nail on the head. It perfectly captures the danger here. We are at risk of running the exact same playbook we used with oil and gas, creating a whole new generation of resource curses, where powerful countries get rich and the local communities are just left with the mess. And the environmental mess is severe. Getting rare earths out of the ground is a notoriously dirty business. We're talking radioactive byproducts, toxic sludge, stuff that can poison the water and soil for generations. It leaves behind a completely devastated landscape. But as bad as the environmental cost is, the human cost is just on another level. This is the estimated death toll in the DRC from conflicts that are, at least in part, fueled by this fight over minerals. 6.4 million people. Just let that number sink in for a second.
And for the people who survive, for the workers themselves, life is often brutal. They're working in incredibly dangerous conditions, sometimes facing exploitation and even child labor, all to dig up the cobalt that powers our phones and cars. It's a really dark reality that's hidden deep inside our sleek, modern gadgets. So, okay, this all sounds pretty bleak, right? But here's the thing. This destructive path isn't a foregone conclusion. We're at a crossroads. We can either just accept this as the cost of doing business, or we can demand a better, more just way to build our clean energy future. A just transition is actually possible, but it's going to take real, deliberate action. It means having and enforcing strong environmental and human rights laws. It means demanding transparency so no more corrupt secret deals. It means making sure that the countries with the resources actually benefit from them. And, critically, it means giving Indigenous communities the actual right to say no to projects on their land.
Now, technology can definitely help. Things like recycling rare earths from our old electronics, some people call it urban mining, that's a great idea for a more circular economy. But, and this is a huge but, we have to be realistic. Right now, recycling provides less than 5% of what the world needs. So it's part of the answer, for sure, but it is not a silver bullet. Not yet. And so that leaves us with this one final massive question. We know we need these minerals. That part's not really up for debate. The real question is how we're going to get them. Are we willing to build our so-called clean future on the very same foundation of human suffering and environmental destruction that defined the entire fossil fuel era? The choice, ultimately, is ours to make.